ahead and jump right in with these guys. Chase, we'll start with you. Congratulations. Big day for you. You've been knocking on the door. You've been there. Just needed to put it all together. Fastest qualifier, familiar spot for you. And then you put it all together in the two motos. That second moto was interesting with Adam kind of having his issues, but you're ready. You were there. You were close. Was it the jersey? What was it? What was the difference today that got you on top of the box?
Definitely wearing that gear put a little bit added pressure. You can't really wear Michael Jordan and then go out and get beat. So I put a lot of pressure on myself for that second moto. I knew if I got a good start, I was basically going to have to either crash or go for the win. So I kind of held back a little bit at the beginning and made a push towards the middle of the race and was really feeling good. Had a really good flow of the track. It was pretty gnarly today. So, it was good. Adam, I finally pressured him into a mistake. I've been behind him way too much this year. And, I'm really happy with how the day went. 3-1. It was a pretty good day. So really happy to get this first win out of the way. And I couldn't be more excited. It still doesn't feel real. It's been a long time coming. So I'm excited for the future.
Talk about your first year in this class. I mean, you kind of came in. I mean, you're coming in straight off of 250, in a championship winning season in Supercross. What were your expectations for yourself, when you came into the year? And, is getting on top of the box, what you did today, is that something you realistically had as a goal on your list for this season?
To be honest, I really didn't know where I was going to stack up. I know this class is very difficult. Obviously, it's the premier class. So I didn't really know. I just wanted to. My whole goal this year was to come out and show speed and show that I can run with the best guys. And I feel like I did that pretty early. And then I kind of crossed off a lot of what I wanted to do early in the season. And then I felt like I had potential to win. So from probably halfway on, I just wanted to get a moto win. And it took me 18 motos out of 18 to get it. So I'm really happy with how it went, and definitely felt like I had a successful rookie season, and felt like I built every weekend. So we're just going to try and keep that going.
And one last thing, Christian was right there with you every step of the way today. What was it like? Was that like a rabbit to chase? Was it good to have him up there with you? And basically you two have your own in-team battle to see who can come out on top. Like, did that add kind of to everything going into today and getting you on the box?
Yeah, definitely. Christian rode very well today. It was cool to see him. I knew he was going to be fast. He's really good at these California tracks. This is where he grew up, and I know his bike is pretty much set up for out here. So I knew he was going to be good, especially when the track kind of formed like a normal Paula day. I knew he was going to be good, and it was awesome having the Hondas go 1-2 that second moto. He was really riding well, and congrats to him. He went 4-2 for fourth. It is I don't know how that doesn't happen very much. So
sure.
It was awesome, and to have him up there, definitely first moto when he passed me, I was like, there's no way I can have this. I can't let him beat me. That was kind of the deciding factor too on the win. So I'm glad I got him first moto, and then second moto I was kind of hanging back a little bit and made a charge and got him. So he rode really well, and everyone rode well all season, so it was fun.
Awesome. Zach, on to you. Congratulations on the championship. Let's talk about your career. I mean, you have paved your own path to this point. No one has done it quite like you've done it. You have a career that started back, a pro career went back to 2006. I mean, you've really done a lot, and your journey has, been filled with a lot of experience in a lot of different ways. Did all of those years and all of that work to get to this point, did all that kind of help you really prepare you for what you did? I mean, you also have championship experience, but did all of those years and all that experience really help you be positioned to, once you got that points lead, to know, like, I can do this, I can manage this lead, and I can win this title?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I mean, every experience you can either learn from it or, allow it to be a failure or a setback. So today was just kind of the culmination of a lot of years of doing what I do, and trying to claw my way back to where I am today. And still nothing that I've ever done really prepared me for the pressure that I would feel today and last night trying to sleep. And um, it's nice to just, I'm looking forward to going to bed.
Can you pinpoint at any point where you turned the corner in your career, where you went from being a guy that can challenge for podiums to being a guy that can win every single time the gate drops? Can you pinpoint where you feel like you turned the corner in your career and became the guy that you are today?
It's hard to say. I would like to think that it was probably 2016, the year before I won championships. I was really close to winning some Supercrosses that year, and like it really broke me down because I was prepared. My bike was good. Everything was in a really good spot, and I failed like 4 or 5 times that Supercross season. I was on the podium, and like, until that point, podiums were always like, oh man, I got on the podium. And then finally I just kind of got fed up with that. And I was able to win a race at Budds Creek at the end of that year in 2016. And that sort of seemed to flick that switch. But then, when you get in the 450 class, it's the same battle all over again to win races and to be that guy. And then this year, last year I won a moto, and this year I wanted to win a race. And then I won the first race, and then I won the second race. And then I was went from wanting to win to, hey, maybe we can win this title. And then, 7 weeks later, I'm still leading the points. I have a good gap. All the things are lining up. And then it was like a completely different level of pressure and precision that needed to be used every day, training and all the things that happen to get you to race at the final race on the final day of this championship, to be able to be in a position to win. Like that's the details. And that's kind of, what got me to where I am.
Awesome. And last thing before you hand it off to the media, does it feel weird to be the oldest champion that there's ever been? I mean, it's probably an odd thing to be, known for now, but did age maybe give you that kind of extra bit too? Was that extra age, that experience, maybe that made that little difference this year as well? Did you think that played into your favor even?
Maybe, but I mean, really, it was just, like I said, winning is like a stepping stone. Once you win, then you want to win more, and fifth's not good anymore. And, it's just like a paradigm shift, a goal shift of everything you have going on, where you just take a step up mentally. And that's kind of what happened this year. And I don't even know. I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah. All right. I'll open it up to the media. Dark Side, you go first.
All right, let's start with you, Chase. We always hear once you get your first win, they come easier, right? I mean, Zach's kind of proof of that this year. Is it kind of rough that you win your first one and now we got a break and we got to wait a while? I mean, do you kind of wish you could keep that momentum going and go race next weekend?
I mean, it could go either way. I mean, having a bad race today and then going into the off season is kind of a bummer. So I really wanted to end on a high note. And I mean, I feel like I did the best job I could today at doing that. But also, like, I don't really get to carry really any momentum. But I guess mentally, it really just helps me. It's hard to really believe that you can win until you actually do it. So today, I think really helped me in that aspect. Just believing that I can do it now since I have done it. And I think that's going to carry into off season and training and coming into Supercross next year. We have about 3 months off. So it's time to take a few weeks off and then go to work and keep that momentum just in training and the mindset that I can do this. And like Zach said, I mean, he won a race. He won his first overall, I think, at Loretta's, and it turned into something great. So we're just trying to win races and take this momentum into testing and next year.
Yeah. Talk about the track. Just sitting at home watching it, it looked like the worst track of the year. It just did not look fun to ride on. No traction. Going up that big hill, everybody's going off the side of the track because there's just nothing to push off of. Didn't look fun.
Yeah, I mean, it turned into basically Paula on a Tuesday is what I kind of felt. It was a little bit better. I actually really enjoyed it. I felt like, I mean, it's easy to say when you win. I mean, if I would have came out here and got 6, I wouldn't say it was probably the best track. But first moto, I didn't really gel at all with the track. I didn't really feel that great. and then second moto came out and it kind of hung back a little bit and then found a really good flow of the track. And I think that was key with all the chuck holes and all the braking bumps and stuff. They just really had to find a good flow. And I feel like I found that second moto. So it was definitely a difficult track, not much traction and pretty bumpy, small chatter bumps. So it was definitely difficult, but I feel like we made a few bike setup changes, going a little softer, and I think that helped.
Right on. Well, congratulations on the win. Zacho, my man. Dude, it has been awesome to watch your evolution this year, from kind of being a guy that's not really sure where you're going to fit in necessarily in the 450 to in the last couple of weeks, we could tell you knew, like you had it in you now, like you were going to win this championship or had a very good chance to. Man, just talk about that. Like you've come a long way this year, man. It's been really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. It's just like an evolution that normally happens over some years. And this year it was, I don't know how. I think 9 weeks ago I was winning my first national. So to have all that happen in 1 year is pretty incredible. And I've felt some serious pressure from it. But I'm so grateful to have been in the position that I was given, and I'm so happy I was able to make it happen.
And last thing I want to touch on, and I think maybe Weeds or GL talked about it during the broadcast. I mean, you're a family man. You're really known for that. Brittany keeps you grounded. Your kids, keep you grounded. That's your primary focus in life, really. I think you're a racer second. What's that? How has that dynamic helped you this season with the fact that, probably 2 or 3 races in after winning, like we're thinking Zach may win this championship. And it's easy to get ahead of yourself, right? It's easy to get a big head. It's easy to lose focus. I mean, how did they keep you grounded?
Well, I mean, the main thing is they're going to love me no matter what, whether I win or I don't win. And that's kind of, like you said, they're my main focus, I would say, altogether. So when I have that and I have that comfort and knowing that, no matter what, I have something to go home to, it's an awesome feeling. My little girl I asked her when we were going to Loretta's one, I was like, are you going to watch the race this weekend? And she was like, well, are you going to win this weekend? And I was like, well, okay, like, here we go. Like, all right. But my little guy, like, he loves being at the races, and it's been fun getting to watch him this year, just kind of enjoy running and playing in the dirt. Like yesterday we built a Twitter bike track and he was so stoked on it. And I was probably more stoked on it. It's those kind of things that you don't ever realize or appreciate until you become a dad, the moments. So that's probably the main thing with how they help me, is just, like you said, staying grounded.
Well, I couldn't be any happier for anybody to win the championship, man. So congratulations and enjoy it. But I'll let you guys have it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Johnny, go ahead.
Thank you. It's Johnny with 24 Speed and MX Unfiltered. Zach, this first one's for you. Congratulations, man. You've been through a lot this season, from round 2 to Millville. You pulled it out. And you don't really get a whole lot of time to celebrate. Do you have big plans, maybe a vacation for the family to try to regroup before you jump back into Supercross? Or do you just going next week, just start jumping into Supercross? Because you are probably one of the favorites to win Supercross.
Well, I just had a pizza with the real cheese on it for the first time in like 3 years, and backed that up with a Dr. Pepper and some chocolate that I found in the motorhome. So we're off to a good start.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a tough time to actually go on vacation. Like, I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to go somewhere where I have to wear a mask or do all these things. I want to be able to go and enjoy it. So my family and I were going to stay here in California for a couple of days, fulfill some obligations, and then we're going to go back to Florida and find somewhere to go on vacation and enjoy it. So I have a couple, 2 or 3 weeks completely off, no training at all, no riding, nothing. And then I think I'll start riding again at the end of November and training for what we hope is, a January start for Supercross. So a considerable amount of time off and just chilling, that's the main thing. Like, I can be happy or relaxed kind of anywhere. And obviously my kids have obligations with school and with my daughter's in gymnastics. So, we kind of have to pay attention to those things too. So we'll get definitely some vacation time and some downtime, but also, still kind of doing the normal.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. It's got to be a huge weight off your shoulders. You earned it. I look forward to watching you in Supercross. Chase.
Thank you.
This season, it's kind of appeared to be under-prepped when it comes to the tracks. Do you think that makes the tracks faster or easier to pass on? Or what is your take? Do you like how the tracks ended up for the Nationals, or would you like to see it go back to being ripped really, really deep and qualifying starts out just silly muddy?
For me, I think I actually liked how the tracks were. I mean, they're a little bit more hard packed, but I just feel like I can move around a little bit more on the track and kind of be a little more creative than if the tracks are super deep. You have kind of a set line, and they all kind of funnel, and they all get major hooks in the corners and stuff like that. I think a lot of it has to do with it just being later in the year. I know California obviously hasn't gotten a lot of rain, and it's hard to put a lot of water into the track when you haven't gotten any rain. So, and I think just a lot of the tracks, we're going through a little bit of a drought, and those are the ones that are more hard packed. But I feel like we had really good racing this year, both classes. So I feel like the tracks made that a lot better and be able to move around. And I think the racing was a little bit closer just because I just think times were closer. So for me, I really liked it. And I've grown up on hard packed, and it's kind of what I like. So I was definitely a fan of it. It's just something different than the normal same track every weekend kind of thing.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for your input. My last question is sort of for the privateers as far as when it comes to bike setup. The track seemed really, really fast. Did you guys lengthen the wheelbase and kind of take the forks down a little bit just for stability, for speed-wise, to keep that front end from shaking and getting the back end sliding around? Because the track looked like it had some real fast, choppy holes that could put you on your head.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I run a 47 rear sprocket, so that is basically I have the wheel as far back as I possibly can at all times. That doesn't matter if it's hard packed or not. Today, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I had to soften my bike up quite a bit, just because it was really chattery, and it was also high speed, which is you couldn't really go too soft because you had to have that hold up when you hit those big G outs. But for those like corners that just had a lot of chatter and stuff like that, you wanted to be soft so you had a little bit of feeling. And I feel like we kind of had the best of both worlds. Second moto, first moto, I felt like we were too stiff and it was kind of beating me up a little bit. But it's definitely difficult to find a perfect setting on any track. And yeah, I mean, for us, we have obviously endless resources, but for privateers, it's a little bit more difficult. So yeah, I mean, for us, I didn't touch anything internal, just clickers today, and yeah, to soften up a little bit.
Hey, I appreciate your transparency, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Hard fought, and thank you guys.
Thank you.
Dan Lamb, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start with Zach. Most of my questions have been asked, so I'll be quick. How are the nerves today, Zach? Did they get to you at all, or was it pretty much just going through the motions?
Well, I mean, obviously I had a decent lead coming in, 24 points. So I knew it was mostly about executing 2 good starts and kind of keeping my bike intact and just, taking care today. So the stress was high because you want so badly for the result to happen and win the championship and all that comes with that, so it's still very stressful. But like, as far as being nervous, I felt really, really good about my chances. And I knew that I just needed to execute what I have been kind of all season, and it worked out for me today.
How different was the feeling of winning? I mean, I wish I could win any of them, but how different was the feeling between the 250 championship and this one minus the size of the bonus? Can you compare the two?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first championship I won, obviously in 2017, the Supercross championship, was the climax of. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat that, but this one's definitely right up there. It's been a hard fought season. I'm older than anyone that's ever done it, which is quite an accomplishment as well. So, there's a lot of a lot of things that were kind of stacked against me, but it just felt amazing to cross the finish line. You know, when you're in that situation and the moto's long, the track was really rocky today, and you know, you hear a noise and you think, oh man, you know, everything you hear and everything you feel is just like magnified by 50. So as far as like nerves, it wasn't that bad, but stress was pretty high.
Well, you got a good mechanic over there. Is she all right? Do you speak on that note on your age? Do you have a plan? Do you and the wife talk about it or a goal on how long you want to do this for?
No, my deal with Husqvarna is through next year, through 2021. And they've been talking about maybe 2022. So for me, it's just as long as they want to kind of keep me and I'm still relevant and doing good. You know, I've had a successful career here in the last 4 or 5 years, and I want to continue that. You know, it would suck to kind of just fade away or be irrelevant in 10th place or whatever. So as long as I can be competitive and run at the front and contend for wins and championships, and I'm happy to do it. I don't know if, you know, past 2022, I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Like Darkside said, there's nobody I'd rather see win. I've been watching you forever through I'm a huge GP fan. So, I mean, to see you come from, you know, winning Turkey to struggling to coming here to doing this, it was amazing to watch. It was a cool story.
Thank you so much.
And for Chase, oh, no problem. And for Chase, what's the plan now for your off season? Do you go right into Supercross? What's your plan?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I'm staying in California this week. We obviously have a new bike, new 21, totally different body, or totally different chassis kind of thing, and so that's going to take some time. So the next week, I'm actually testing on motocross on Tuesday, just riding it and getting used to it, and then jumping 2 days of Supercross testing. So get that out of the way, and then I plan on taking like four weeks off of the bike and training completely. It's been quite a long year for, I mean, obviously the 450 guys race more than me, but we're not usually racing in October. So it's been a long, stressful year after Supercross. Took quite a bit out of me in Salt Lake City, and then kind of rejuvenated and got ready for outdoors. And yeah, I mean, it's been 9 races, which is shorter, but it felt pretty long. So I'm looking forward to testing this week and getting somewhat of a setting for Supercross, and then taking some time off and just hanging out and go back to Illinois and where I'm from and kind of just hang out and be with my friends, and then get ready for next year.
All right, thanks, and congrats on the win. Huge. I'll see you in hopefully for Supercross.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mitch, go ahead.
Mitch Kendra from Racer X. Hey, Zach, congratulations on the title. And then just real quick, you mentioned about you thought about retiring in March. How much does this fuel your fire for next year? Like you said, you want to be competitive and stuff. How much is
massively?
This like?
Massively. I mean, it's that's the reason why I consider it, is because at the time I was riding like crap. I was struggling, and you know, I didn't feel like it could be in contention for wins or being relevant, you know. So to know that I can do it and know that I have the bike and team to be able to do it it's inspiring to me. So as long as I have health and, you know, this is God's plan for my life, then I'll continue.
And then did you guys ever get the bike to blow up, or you guys keep revving
No,
it?
I'm not a massive fan of that whole rev up deal. So
Mm-hmm.
they did it a couple times. I had one twist of it, and then they put it in the truck. I think that's the best way.
Awesome. Thanks. Congrats.
Thank you.
Alex Gobert, go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, Alex Gobert, motoonline.com. To start with Zach, congratulations on the championship. You obviously finished Salt Lake in really good form and then carried that momentum into the outdoors. So how much do you think the way that this year's played out is really going to sort of, you know, help your mindset heading into 2021 and, you know, just that belief?
I think it'll help me a lot, you know, just more than anything, just like kind of a weight lifted, and owning a 450 championship is a pretty big deal in our sport. So for me, you know, it just kind of brings some validation and takes some pressure away to where I can just kind of free up and ride more openly and have more fun with it. So it's not really so much, it's more of a confidence thing than anything. Like I know I can do it now. So it's kind of, I hope to be able to continue what I'm doing.
You mentioned, obviously on the podium and just then about the retirement sort of consideration. How serious was that? Like, was that just within your family, or did you go to Husqvarna and, let them know what you were thinking, or?
No, it was more just me and my wife, and probably more just me, because I was kind of afraid, it was a big decision. So it was one of those things where I just needed to take some time and really kind of discover if this was really what I wanted to continue doing. It was a massive injury. I had 5 broken vertebrae, 2 that were 50% compression, loss of height, and a broken wrist, 2 punctured lungs, partially punctured and collapsed, bruised lungs. And it was a big deal for me, and it wasn't like a scared thing. It was just like I was struggling to get going again and find the motivation. And obviously in the end, it was the right decision. And I'm grateful for the decision that I made, and as well as my wife's influence on not allowing me to quit in a hard time or in a hard spot.
Yeah, thanks. A couple of quick questions for Chase. This experience outdoors on the 450 leading into next year, obviously you've worked with the team now for a full outdoor season. You've done the 9 rounds on the 450. So a new bike's coming, obviously, but how critical do you think this outdoor experience will help you leading into Supercross?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the whole plan behind it. I think I obviously could have raced the 250 this outdoor season, but for me, in my future, I feel like, obviously the premier class is where I want to be, and had the opportunity to move up after Supercross. And I feel like getting to know the team and what kind of them learning me and I'm learning them as well. And just puts us a lot farther ahead than if I would have raced motocross on the 250 this year. And I feel like we learned a lot about each other, the team and I, and it definitely had our rough times throughout the season. We were struggling a little bit with bike setup and just whatnot. So definitely glad we got this out of the way. We're on a new bike next year, so it's gonna be fun being able to test with them and learning learning a new bike. It's been a while since I've gotten on a new bike, and looking forward to that. And yeah, it's been definitely, I feel like I made the right decision going to the 450 for outdoors. I know a lot of people were criticizing me, saying I moved up too early, but I feel like I always felt like I rode the 450 well, and they saw something in me when they came down and I was riding the 450 practicing with Kenny. So glad we made that decision, and happy to be on the team I'm on.
And just finally, you've had a lot of success with the Geico team, obviously on the 250. So we've learned about their sort of departure today. Can you kind of give us your thoughts on that? It must be it's a massive thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's super sad to see a team as good as they are, and they've obviously given me so much, winning 2 championships for them, but they've supported me since I was an amateur, and it's definitely sad to see that go. And it couldn't have been worse timing in this whole pandemic, and then Geico pulling out. And I feel for a lot of those guys, and they've given me, like I said, so much. And even Zach, Zach rode for them, and they've helped so many careers in this industry kind of jumpstart them. And to see them not have a team next year is it's hard to really believe. And I was talking to Jeff, one of the owners at the podium, him kind of tearing up after today, and it's just hard to see these guys go through this. And I just hope everything works out in the end and everyone gets jobs, and that's the most important thing. And the riders that aren't going to have a ride anymore, they get rides, and it's a lot of stuff going on. So I feel for them, and definitely bittersweet today after winning and then knowing that they aren't going to have a team next year.
All right. Thank you. Well done.
Weege, we'll wrap it up with you.
Yeah, thanks, Jason from RacerX. Hey, Chase, to follow up on that with the Geico team, technically you and Christian are kind of still part of that team, or you were earlier in the year. You go 1-2, and then the team sweeps the podium. That must be crazy to think that it worked out that way, that the 5 guys that are associated with the team went 1, 2, 3, and 1-2 in the last races ever.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have went better for them. I mean, and obviously us, I was contracted to them until September 1st or September 1st. So, I mean, I was on the team, but just riding on a factory 450 until that time. So, I stayed with actually Josh Weiser, the team manager, this week in California. That's where I stay when I go to California. So I was talking to him like, man, you guys, because for him, he was a new manager this year for the team. I'm like, man, you could possibly go 2 for 2 and then not have a team next year. It's kind of hard to believe. And then them going 1, 2, 3, Joe getting his first moto podium, and then Jet obviously winning his first national was cool to see. And it's just crazy that a team that successful is not going to be around next year, and it's just hard to wrap my mind around it.
And for you, Chase, to be at this level now where you're really a genuine threat for 450 wins and maybe championships going forward, you know, your career as you were growing up, you were good, but it wasn't like there is no doubt this is going to happen. You were dominant. Are you almost surprised with your own progress and you're really still quite young? Or did you know all along that this was the level that you would be able to get to?
I mean, I would like to say that I knew all along that I was going to be a threat for race wins in the premier class and possibly, obviously, going to Supercross, possibly, I mean, going for a championship. But, yeah, I mean, it was always growing up, I was always good, but I never really got to that top spot. I got beat by Austin Fortner quite a bit. He definitely beat me more than I beat him. And I was always looking forward to getting on a 250. And then when I got on a 250, I was definitely better. I feel like that was more of the kickstart to that's how I got my Geico ride. And then when I was on the 250, I'm like, man, I know like what I'm capable of. And I knew my riding style was going to suit a 450. So this year going into Supercross, I knew I had to win. I had to be at least somewhat dominant and try and win as many races before I move up to the premier classes. Seeing all these guys, I know like it does take time to win in the premier class, and so I wanted to win as much as I possibly could before moving up, and I feel like I did that. And then going into this summer, I was just trying to learn as much as possible, and it definitely has come a little faster than I thought. I just turned 21, so it's cool to see. I mean, Zach winning at the age he's at, and it's not easy to do, and I know no one's done it besides for him. So I feel like we're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's older and I'm really young, but it's just cool to see that there is that variable of age. It doesn't really matter. It's just when it comes to you and it clicks. So I'm going to try and make the most of it when I have the opportunity. So yeah, we're definitely hungry for next year's Supercross, and just super grateful for the team I have around me. And yeah, really excited to be in this position.
And real quick, that gear, is that an idea you had? Did they come to you with it? Were you surprised by it? How did that come together real quick?
So the gear, I didn't know about it until like Millville. They told me they had special gear made for me, but I didn't see it until yesterday. And I'm obviously a big Michael Jordan fan. He's been a big influence on kind of I try and be like him as much as possible, if that's even possible. So growing up around Chicago and Illinois, he was like a god around there. So, it's cool to have show when I saw it yesterday, and they did a really good job. And through that gear away, we have to get it a couple more times next year, and hopefully run it a lot more often. It's pretty cool to have that jersey, and like I said, it kind of adds a little bit of pressure. You can't go out there wearing a Michael Jordan jersey and lose. So we definitely had a little bit of pressure on that today, but I feel like everyone liked it, and I was super excited.
All right, thanks, Chase. Congrats on the win. And for you, Zach, yeah, Chase mentioned you were on the Geico team for a little while, and then you moved to Husqvarna. And I don't think it was like you were the hottest free agent ever of all time, but it did go to another level on that team. What is it about the team or changes in your life, or what got you to the next step? Because it really seemed like when you went there, things started to go forward. what's the atmosphere there? Is that something to do with it?
Definitely that's something to do with it. When I took the deal, they were obviously kind of transitioning back into Husqvarna, the new coming of Husqvarna. And I was doing a lot of off-road stuff at the time, and that kind of seemed where things were headed for me, was like to GNCC or something like that. So I kind of took the deal thinking like, okay, if this two years goes good, then they'll re-sign me. If not, then maybe they'll have a space for me to do something else. So that was kind of the original deal, was to maybe do, have an opportunity at doing something else. So I was hired by Bobby Hewitt and Dave Gallen, and there were some times where they weren't supposed to sign me, and they did. And the story is written. I mean, it's just, we are a group of guys who love to go racing. We all appreciate each other. And we have a lot of fun. Like, we legit have a good time every weekend. And I think it shows in our results and in the atmosphere around our team, especially when we have all the riders and everybody's kind of doing their thing. Like, it's a fun atmosphere. I've said it a million times, but I wish like there was a way to film our lounge for a weekend at a Supercross, because it's pretty comical. So, for me, sorry, go ahead.
No, I've been there, and it is not what people expect. But this weekend was weird because I didn't realize this. You ended up being the only rider on the team. So how did that change the dynamic?
Well, I felt like there were like 15 people standing around looking at me like, okay, like, so we're going to win the championship today, right? And I'm like, I wish RJ was here. I wish, the other guys were here, Dean or Jason or just anybody at this point. Like, everybody's standing here looking at me like there's only so many people that can work on my bike. And, it was a lot of pressure. So it's just fun, man. Like, all the guys are super – everyone gels well, and there's nobody that has like an ego issue where, it's their rider or this or that. It's just like everyone is pulling in the same direction, and that's whatever's best for the team at the time. And that's rare in any sport. And I think that we've kind of hit something kind of off the wall with it being that way. So I hope it's that way forever.
You were a great rider coming out of amateurs, and then it's like you didn't get much of a chance at all. It was gone so quickly. And then you managed to rebuild yourself and come all the way back, and we've talked about this quite a bit, and everybody's heard this story. Do you think if you had just gotten another year or two in America to find yourself that you would have reached these heights, or did you need to experience all these lows to get to this point?
No, I would definitely not. I mean, yeah, who knows, ifs and buts or Kenny and nuts or whatever, how that saying goes, but I don't believe in my heart of hearts that I would be where I am today without the experiences that I've had. And it's not just racing experiences either. It's a lot of life experiences. I had a high level ride and everything that you could want as a kid, as an amateur, from the time I was 12 years old until I lost it all and kind of went down a different path. But it's those, the rubber had never kind of met the road for me until it was time to do it for me and for myself. And I actually owe a lot of my success to the guys that were on my original team when I went to England, the Dixon Racing team, because they kind of rekindled the fire for me, a passion that I never really had, or, I don't know. It just brought racing to me in a different light, a light of fun, and that it didn't have to be so corporate, and that, there was no pressure. Like, we just had a genuine good time, and it's much the same as the team I'm on now. And I think that that's why when I came back with Geico, it was very kind of corporate and square, and like, it's an amazing team. They've had an amazing career, as a team, but it was just too stiff for me, and I needed that atmosphere and to feel those feelings again. Like, when I came back, I kind of had the same feelings that I had when I left. And then when I came to this team, it was more like, oh, wow, it can still be fun and racing in America, So for me, I think, to answer your question, back to your question, I doubt it. in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it would be the same today without having been where I was.
Good stuff there, Zach. Good answers. My last thing is, we know that Alden Baker's a trainer, and he's won another title here with you. But I feel like the relationship that you and Alden have goes way beyond miles on a bicycle or laps of the track. I think that you're a guy that just always is trying to learn about business and racing and strategy and whatever. Could you describe that part of your relationship with him beyond just that lap times and training load part?
Yeah, I think he trusts me a lot in things. You know, obviously he trusts me on a day-to-day, like to do what I'm supposed to do or eat what I'm supposed to eat or whatever, you know, but also with business things like at the track and input on, you know, tracks and equipment and that kind of stuff, because I've been down that road before, and he respects my view on that. So I think that kind of is another part of the relationship between us that no one really sees, or, you know, you wouldn't see it unless you knew. So we definitely have a working relationship that where we trust each other a lot. I think that's the biggest word I could probably say, is just that we, you know, we're kind of in it together, and he trusts me and I trust him.
Cool. All right. Congrats, Zach. Good job. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Zach.
All right.
Congrats to both of you. Big day today. And thank you for a great season. And, you know, we'll see you again, hopefully in January.
Thanks, guys.